there is this assumption right away that because I'm vegan, I'm compassionate, care about animals, about the planet, and I don't like it because that's not really who I am. The reason why I became plant-based, it's me being greedy.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the Roa podcast. Today we're excited to introduce Ania, a certified plant-based nutritionist now working in a hospital in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. She has international qualifications from Cornell University, Winchester University, and the International Sports Science Association. Ania is on a mission to revolutionize lives through healthy eating, particularly for business professionals who are busy and looking to boost their energy, productivity, and overall well being. Her extensive expertise, speaking engagements, and co authorship of inspiring books showcase her unwavering dedication to this cause. Join us as we dive deep into the world of plant based nutrition with Ania and discover how indulgence and health can go hand in hand. Welcome, Ania.
Welcome. Thank you very much, Jane. Thank you very much for the invitation. I'm really happy to be part of this project.
We're happy to have you and couldn't be more excited. So maybe to kickstart, can you share with us your journey and what inspired you, to become first of all, plant-based nutritionist and launch your business, Healthy with Ania?
About 6 years ago, when I was in Singapore, I was conducting vegan and gluten-free cooking classes. I was teaching Persian, Middle Eastern, Georgian food. But after about a year, I realized that it actually doesn't change much, that it's more like an entertainment for people. So yes, I can teach someone a 1, 2, or 3 dishes, but it doesn't really change much in their life. So I started to look into plant-based nutrition, and then I've seen that there is not much when it comes to education. So you still cannot get a bachelor or master degree just in plant-based nutrition. You have to take the entire nutritional course to do that. So I decided to get certifications, which I could, Cornell, Winchester, and change people's life. It's almost like to take a one step backwards. First, I was showing them how to do it, but I didn't explain why to do it. So now I go a bit backwards and I show people and explain them why to go vegan, why plant-based. It's actually the best what is available at the moment, instead of just showing them how.
That sounds like there's a lot to go through. We have a lot of content to deep dive. But before we do that, I want to start with something fun. So let's maybe have a speed round. So take this very, quickly, casually, and have a little fun with this. Okay, so first question. Dark chocolate or a fruit for sweet cravings?
I know what I'm supposed to answer, but I will be honest. Dark chocolate. Dark chocolate anytime. I love Roa, so dark chocolate anytime.
Oh, that's why we're good friends.
Yes.
Well, it's always important to give in to your cravings, right? And to be honest with yourself and not just
No, absolutely. I think it's all about the quantity as much as I can use Roa as an example. As much as the Roa midnight cake is great, that's probably not a serving for anyone per day. So I think that the healthy indulgence is important from our mental health perspective, because food is more than just a nutritional label. It has a culture aspect and yes, simple pleasure. So dark
that's
chocolate
right.
anytime.
That's right. Okay. Next question. So one ingredient you cannot live without in your vegan kitchen.
Nutritional yeast. I think it's a magic ingredient which can turn any boring dish, whether it's a salad dressing, a pasta. I do some savory baking. I add nutritional yeast, and it's just magic. It just tastes so much better.
It has that umami cheesiness that it
Yes,
brings out as well. Everything just elevates with nutritional yeast. And
absolutely.
I think on top of that, that is what the B12 requirement for that's lacking in typical vegan diets that it helps to sort of boost as well.
Yes, however, I will be very careful. Nutritional yeast, they have to be fortified in order to have enough B12. So you have to check every single producer. Each brand will have a different content. You just have to check a panel on the product itself.
Good tip for those who are new to a vegan diet. Right. Next question. A favorite gluten-free dish that you recommend to our listeners?
Are gluten-free pastas, which are the same protein rich. So the chickpea, lentils, edamame, soya, they are gluten-free. They are packed with protein. When you check the ingredients, it's just 100% soy, 100% edamame. It's a simple tomato sauce with pasta can turn into protein-rich dish. So I would say those pastas.
Amazing. That's a really good tip actually. Even for someone like me who is not gluten intolerant, I think I would want to make the switch to a gluten-free pasta just purely because it's packed with proteins. Yeah.
Yes.
The last question, this one is a little less related to food. What is a daily habit that keeps you mentally sharp?
For me, it's exercise. I like to start the first thing in the morning, some sort of exercise, at least a shorter session. It's not only about the muscles, but I think it lets you sort of clear out your brain, and that should be always before your coffee if you drink coffee in the morning.
Okay, so now let's deep dive into the topic itself on, healthy indulgence and nutrition. So tell me, you work a lot with busy professionals, right? So mental well-being is really crucial for success. What are some of the dietary choices that can really help boost mental clarity, energy, and productivity for anybody?
So the same source of energy which get your muscles to work will work with your brain. So I think that people don't realize it, that food is obviously the energy, the fuel for our muscles. When you see professional athletes, they have a nutritionist, they calculate all the macros. But we don't think that our brain, the source of energy, is exactly the same as our muscles. That if you know that you have a busy week at work, if you know that you have a lot of meetings, because of lack of time, you will reach for a donut, for example. I think you should prepare yourself the same way as people prepare themselves for some sort of sport competition. It's not about the calories, it's about the same approach with planning food. When you're a professional athlete, you don't wait until you are hungry to decide what you eat. That already it's planned in advance. So even if you work it's 8 hours in front of your laptop, or if you have any creative work which requires top-notch performance of your brain, you have to nourish it the same as the professional athletes nourish their muscles. And here, for example, when we have a high fat meal, it could be fast food. Imagine something which has a very high content of fat. In order for our body to digest it after, let's say, it's lunchtime, we have to use more oxygen. And this oxygen will be crucial for our brain to perform its task. So instead of wasting your oxygen to digestion, you can just have a lighter meal. And here we coming to my favorite super ingredient, which is fiber. Available cheap ingredient from many different sources, starting from grains, fruits, vegetables. If you based your lunch, for example, at work on a complex carbohydrates, on a rich source of fiber, that would definitely boost your performance. It will improve your gut health.
I remember when I was working in the corporate world, after a lunch, a heavy lunch, especially, with the office people, you come back to office in front of the laptop, you just want to doze off because I think, like you said, if you don't eat for your brain, right? You just literally eat for indulgence or to feed your stomach, and the choices may not necessarily be more optimal for you. Yeah. Over here, now let's shift gears slightly. So we know that what we have to do, right? And why we need to do it. So, but we also want to enjoy while we're doing it. So you mentioned, the concept of being greedy, and you love being greedy as well, while staying healthy. Now, what does that actually mean to you, and how do we adopt this mindset?
So very often when I am part of some panel discussion, there is this assumption right away that because I'm vegan, I'm compassionate, I care about animals, about the planet, and I don't like it because that's not really who I am. The reason why I became plant-based, it's me being greedy based on the current state of our nutritional science being mostly plant-based. It's the best choice for you, for your health. It's not only for the animals, it's not for the planet, but it's the best for you. The most exciting studies showing potential of plant-based diet. These are studies from 2021, which were conducted in Norway, in Bergen, which shows that when around age of 20, you will mostly go plant-based. And here again, I want to emphasize mostly. This is not going all the way vegan. If you are a man, you can extend your life by 13 years. If you are a woman, by 11 years. But the best comes when you are 60 years old. You can, if you go mostly plant based, your lifespan can increase by 6 years. And this is something what money cannot buy. I see increasing our life span. It's a measurement of progress of the whole humanity. The whole goal of when you look at generations is that next generation live better and longer life. It's our entire existence when the goal is to progress and we start to go backwards. Plant-based diet can be an answer for that.
There's this whole topic about what are we really eating and are we eating ourselves to death, right?
Exactly. I wasn't here in the 70s, but I saw a lot of documentaries when those ready microwave meal, they've been seen as a sign of progress. Yes, our civilization, it's going forward because now we can have a full meal within 3 minutes instead of spending hour in a kitchen. But that's not really a progress. Shortcut. It's a shortcut. And I think that's a great example that there is no shortcut to healthy eating. There is no pill, there's no treatment, there are no magic enzymes, bottles. You just have to eat healthy.
I think, yeah, you're right. I think the most important thing is to get educated, is to get to understand what are we eating and why we're eating what we're eating. Like throwing back to what you just said earlier, you plan your meals, you plan ahead. And once you plan it with intention, I think it just makes it easier for you to execute the intention without having to be reactive and like, oh, I feel like eating. I don't have time to plan for a cook meal. Let's just grab this. But what you said about being greedy, so the greedy part is really that you're looking at yourself, at
Yes.
humans, at me.
What's the point of sustainable planet without people on it? There is my problem with a lot of products, the vegan products, which are labeled sustainable. Some of the big companies have a great statistics, how much water, land they preserve, and that's all great. But part of the statistic doesn't show that the products still contain a lot of fat or sugar or sodium. So by being sustainable to a planet, they are not sustainable for the customers. They can still lead to heart attack age of 40. They still cause diabetes and obesity. It's just a marketing gimmick. You cannot have a truly sustainable product if it's not sustainable for your customers as well.
Like you said, I mean, I think if people are educated enough to read the labels, you know what you're getting into. And if you say that, you know what, just once a month or once a fortnight, I want to just have that vegan burger, that may not be the healthiest thing, that's fine, but not to eat it every single day.
There is something what we call pleasure trap. And this is our genetically, yes, we're looking for the calorie dense food because that was, it was easier to survive for 100 years back. Now, unfortunately, we don't need so much calorie dense food. And very often those cravings which we are having, part is the pleasure trap and the part is our culture because when we were born, we didn't crave a burger. We didn't crave a donut. That was something which has been developed with the culture. Obviously, wherever we're coming from, that will be a different treats. Sometimes it is a trap. It is bit of like addiction, it is bit of the habit, but if you spend some time to unlearn it, for me, it was a case with the cheese. I was vegetarian almost all my life, but I was extremely unhealthy vegetarian. My relationship with cheese was extremely unhealthy. I had it every single day. I didn't know how to cook without cheese. I didn't know how to enjoy any meal without cheese. So I was not healthy. And it took me about 6 months before I was able to sit next to someone who had a cheese platter and feel nothing. But few times I failed. I saw someone having a piece of cheese, and I'm like, can I just have a bite? Because that was a simple temptation. So I don't say that it can happen overnight, because probably it won't. But I think if we spend the same time as we spend in childhood to love all this unhealthy food, we can start to appreciate kale and broccoli.
I think that is very helpful for people who have this mindset that, oh, I can never live without meat or dairy. So that actually gives us some sliver of hope and insight that we can actually make that change.
I think that's part of sort of growing up and being mature. As a child, yes, we eat what our parents told us that they decided. We didn't have a choice. And now as a grown up person, your life, your health, it's in your hand. And you can start to work on that. There were very interesting studies talking about genetics in United States, which were conducted among the second generation of Japanese immigrants. So they were born in America, they went to American school, they ate the same food as their American friends. And the obesity rate was not like in Japan, it was like in America. That shows you what is more important, genetics or the culture. So I agree with you when someone say, oh, I cannot live without meat. No, you were born in this context. I mean, India, to me, it's a great example that there are so many people who are vegetarian all their life, and you don't hear from them, I have a meat craving.
And interestingly enough, when I went vegan, I think a couple of years ago, very strict vegan. But since then, I always say that I'm flexitarian, right? But what I realized is that I no longer, absolutely no longer crave meat. And I used to grow up with meat. I used to love chicken wings, I used to love, my steaks and all that. So now I realize that, wow, it's changed. I think you're right. You can actually unlearn a lot of things and relearn intentionally healthier, better for you alternatives that improve your lifestyle. Let's move on to the next question. I want to focus a little bit about indulgence over here. So we've been talking a lot about, what's better for you, what's good for you. I know you as a friend. I know you personally. I know you love and you indulge in your food, and you are such a foodie. So tell us what kind of experience, or what is the best meal you have, be it a Michelin star meal, vegan meal experience that you would like to share, and how exciting it was for you.
I don't want to disappoint you, but the Michelin star restaurants, I think they have a lot to improve when it comes to vegan food. But my favorite vegan restaurant is not a Michelin star. It's a regular eatery in London, and it's founded by the woman which was my inspiration to go vegan, Deliciously Ella. You can find her blog. She made the indulgent food where from the regular ingredients like a sweet potato brownie. She doesn't use any processed meats, any processed cheeses. Her cheese, it's simple cashew, nutritional yeast, and few spices. She tries to create a clean, delicious food from ingredients which are available absolutely everywhere. So that would be my number one, and I would love to see more vegan food in Michelin star establishments.
Well, if any chefs are listening right now, a big challenge for you guys. And if anybody, has the confidence to create something to impress Ania and would like to ask her to come down for a tasting, I'm pretty sure you would love to, right?
Yes. If it's vegan, if there is no plant-based meat, I'm always up for that.
Okay, so tell us, how can someone balance being like a foodie like yourself and enjoying really indulgent meals, but still maintaining like a healthy lifestyle?
Close your eyes and imagine Thai food where the flavors come from kaffir lime leaf and lemongrass. Imagine Italian cuisine with its vibrant basil, or Indian food with garam masala. This is not meat, which gives a unique flavor to particular kitchen. It comes from the herbs, from the spices. And that's a good news because it means you can recreate those unique dishes either in a restaurant or in your own kitchen using herbs and spices. So I would say embrace it, because going plant-based doesn't mean you have to be limited to salad and pasta. You can try food from all around the world. Unfortunately, as we mentioned before, still being going out might be not so easy, so you have to do some research. But nowadays you can try I always recommend to try vegan Georgian food, absolutely amazing cuisine, which is worth to discover and super healthy. And you can enjoy dishes and from around the world, not losing out by being plant based. And the second thing is what we mentioned before: it's unlearning things. I have a story of a very successful man I met once who was vegetarian all his life. He became a CEO of a company, and he said during the business meetings, it was expected he will eat caviar, he will eat seafood, because this was certain level of professional achievement, which is expected from you, that you will eat those products, that maybe Indian paneer, it's not fancy enough.
Right.
So I think it's a lot about changes in the way we think in our brain, and unlearning that indulgence and enjoyment of the food can come from the ripe strawberries and amazing Italian tomatoes.
All right. So now talking about the ultimate indulgence to end off every meal, my favorite topic, desserts. So I know this is something which we have conversations about this before. So like desserts are often seen as a guilty pleasure. So how can we enjoy desserts, guilt free, especially when it comes to following either a plant based diet or a healthier lifestyle?
First of all, we have to understand that dessert, it's it's a treat. I think we have to understand it, that dessert is not a snack. Snack
Yeah.
might be apple with peanut butter or carrot with hummus. This is snack. When you have a donut as a snack at work, this is not a snack. This is your indulgence. And I think the fact that all of these options are so easy available, people getting confused. I am a huge fan of dessert. It's my weakness. I don't have any cravings of savory food. I don't have any cravings of fast food, but chocolate, it's my weakness, and but I consciously work with that. I am aware of that, and I do limit it simply as that. And I look for the healthier options. So you can find desserts which are done from just the white processed flour, refined sugars, a lot of saturated fat, and I simply avoid them. I'm looking for the different options. This is how we met. I fell in love with Roa, with a dark chocolate, which and I found the single serving of Roa. It's perfect exactly for one dessert. Would I recommend it to people have it daily? Maybe not, but a few times a week it's fine. Share it with friends. And this is not a snack again. Roa,
Yeah.
it's a dessert, and all those cakes which are available, these are desserts. This is not a snack. You don't reach for that when you're hungry. You either consciously plan it as a dessert. So I would say a lot about desserts again goes in our head.
That's interesting. You mentioned about it's not a snack, it is a dessert slash treat. And you mentioned that you try to control it and all that, but do you personally honestly feel like you know what, if I had a choice, I would cut it all out? Or do you feel like this is actually necessary for your mental health, for your, it just to have a complete lifestyle?
If you have a strong will to go 100% clear with your diet, of course, never ever have a fast food, never ever have a dessert. I can just applaud you, and I personally will be jealous because I know I cannot do it. This is my conscious decision, because I know that's where the culture which I'm coming from, and most of are coming from. The cake, it's a symbol of celebration for our birthdays, for our wedding. My wedding cake was Roa.
Oh,
This is This is part of the celebration, and I am aware of that. I did think about it actually, that yes, this is the culture I was raised with. It's great if my mother, when I was 3 years old, say, "Here is the apple, enjoy it for your birthday," but she didn't. I have a memory of birthdays, of or promotion at work. Or I do have this memory of those cakes. I remember how they looked. I remember how they taste, which will stay with me forever. But I
Yeah.
also understand it that this is a treat. This is not every day. We don't get a new job every day. We don't get birthdays every day. We don't do it every day.
So I like that mindset. Like we don't beat ourselves up just because we're not perfect, following the perfect nutritionist diet and all that. And you're a nutritionist as well. So that sheds some light on being human, I think. Coming back to that concept and not just talking about cakes, but I think that kind of boils back down to having that concept of what works for you personally and your conscious decision of being educated sufficiently and then making your own personal choices as what you want to achieve in your life. I think
Absolutely, I
that's
think the education is crucial
yeah,
to
yeah.
understand that. I think that the big companies, the marketing, they screaming louder than certain teachers maybe, or professors which could teach us more, and that's the reason which we listen it to more. Coca-Cola is a great example of that, because the notion of today what we have, that if we, oh, as long as you exercise you can eat anything. That's the studies which were funded by Coca-Cola end of 80s or beginning of 90s. So now a long time ago, it's what, 30 years ago. But that support the claim that doesn't matter you drink our product, go and exercise.
Okay, so now let's talk a little bit about like if we want to work on ourselves. And right now, I'm not talking about going 100% just full gluten-free or full plant-based, but even if you just want to elevate an existing dish, baby steps, we're talking about baby steps here. What do you think you could just add in, let any kind of dishes?
I think the most underrated ingredient of vegan, not vegan diet, is actually fiber. It's the nutrient which is the most underrated. A lot of even vegans don't eat enough of fiber, which is recommended just 30 grams per day. The best, the most affordable options are, I would say, beans and legumes. So when you think about it, even if you have a simple rice, I always advocate brown rice, but if you have a white rice, I'm working now with some patients with diabetes. I recommend them mix it 50-50 with lentils. So your rice, it's cooked with lentils, and that comes under your carbohydrate, but it significantly increase your fiber. That also makes you more full, so you don't feel hungry as quick, and financially lentils are very affordable. Opposite to beans, they don't have to be soaked, so you can cook them together even in the same pot of rice. So I would say lentils and beans. I love experimenting with beans in my dessert. I make like a chickpea brownies, chickpea sort of spread alternative to Nutella. So beans and legumes, I would say, they can be your true superfoods, and very versatile. You can blend them into soup. Look into Egyptian red lentils, roasted pepper soup. Absolutely amazing, and just a few minutes to make it. If you don't have time, by the way, you can just smash your chickpeas with back of the fork, add tahina paste. Your hummus does not have to be perfectly smooth. If you just want to put it on the top of your bread, and works with the soups. Lentils will add a bit of the texture to your soup and will significantly improve the nutritional profile.
Okay, wow, that's great. I mean, that's a good tip. And I think when you're just eating it with your rice and other ingredients, you wouldn't even hardly notice that it's there, right? Especially if you have other things that complement together. Or even a stew, you just throw them in and you just mix them out and it once it melts, it just gets into mush and then you just blend
Yes.
it in the in the entire gravy. So you don't even realize you're eating that. Yeah. So
And this
I
is
like how
true
you said
superfood.
it.
When we talk about plant-based diet, there is so much focus on protein. When I think that the fiber, it's a true star. That's the ingredient which is behind managing diabetes, obesity, cardiovascular diseases, and newest studies shows even Alzheimer and depression.
Wow. So a lot of hidden gems, really hidden nutrition in fiber-rich
Yes.
foods. So tell us, do you have a recipe that you would recommend?
So until today, I'm a huge fan of all the cheesy options. I like simple mac and cheese, obviously vegan, gluten free. There is a recipe on my website where I use butternut squash for color, for the volume, and for again a bit of
Mm.
fiber. My favorite nutritional yeast, which turns it into a truly exciting sauce. A bit of cashews, soya milk to boost the protein, and you have a pretty indulgent dish for children. I think that mac and cheese will be
Wow.
also good as a family meal.
I will definitely share this recipe in this video. Yeah. So now to end off, let's talk about something fun here. So, we focus a lot on holistic health, indulgence. So, what is one food that you would enjoy, you wouldn't mind, and you actually really enjoy it every day? It's part of your diet.
So actually, I'm based in Asia, but I'm not a huge fan of rice. So I like my pastas and I like my
Mhm.
noodles as long as they are whole grain. So when it comes to noodles, it's either buckwheat based brown rice, or when it comes to pasta, chickpea lentils, edamame or soya. Even when I have a green curry, I like it with brown rice noodles versus just rice. And I also try Indian curries served with chickpea spaghetti, the traditional way of serving. But I am a huge fan of pastas and noodles.
I mean, it sounds like you love certain flavor profiles and it naturally seem a lot healthier anyway. So that sounds, yeah, it sounds delicious actually. Okay, thank you so much, Anya. Do you have a quote that you want to share with us that you would live by?
Healthy eating is far more than just fitting into your skinny jeans. It can truly change your life.
Okay, awesome, amazing. Thank you.